So what is this gender binary I'm referring to? Without getting into much jargon, I think the gender binary arises out of fear. Men are scared of being assigned normative feminine qualities, and women are being scared of assigned normative masculine qualities. And so arises a gender binary that restricts our actions and beliefs. Let me give you some examples. Sophomore year, I lived in East Dormitory, and as many of you know, East Dormitory has gender-neutral bathrooms.
Can you turn on your mic?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Can everyone hear me? No? Okay. Is that better? Awesome. So sophomore year, I lived in East Dormitory. And in East, there are these gender-neutral bathrooms in the corridor of all the hallways. And I would be in East, brushing my teeth, and men would be doing their business freely. But if a female student, let's call her Susie, were pooping, and a male student walked in, complete and utter silence would ensue. Susie would stop pooping until the male student left. One day, I finally approached Susie, who I had since befriended, and asked her, "Hey, Susie, why do you stop pooping in the bathroom when a guy walks in? Are you just uncomfortable pooping in public?" She said, "Well, no, Kat, but you can't just poop like that in front of a guy." I was quite perplexed by this behavior. Why would Susie, who has a full schedule, waste her time this way, and only in accommodation of male students? Let me give you another example. My friend, John Doe, and I got into a lively discussion one day about Luna bars, and we even bonded over our love of the s'mores flavor. But, qualified John Doe, he never ate a Luna bar ever since learning that they were for women. Of course, instead of looking into why the bars are marketed this way, John Doe assumed a combative position in accordance with a strict gender binary and let his fear of seeming feminine override his desire to eat the bar. John Doe's friends joined our debate at this point and piped up, "I won't eat Luna bars because they're for women." Another friend added, "Kat, Luna bars contain estrogen and will make me emotional." My favorite was, "Kat, I don't want man boobs." Well, in fact, Luna bars don't contain any extra estrogen, and furthermore have been compared to candy bars by dietitian Don Jackson of the American Dietetic Association. These funny examples are part of a larger trend of gender binary thinking that have some very serious repercussions. For fear of our gender assignment transcends the cafeteria and bathroom and is prevalent in all social organizations, the workplace, the home, and in public spaces. And here, the stakes are much higher. At work, there exists the threat of unequal pay, restrictions on paternity and maternity leave, and a gender-segregated work culture. In the home, there are unevenly shared responsibilities for childcare, house maintenance, and family bonding. Last, in public spaces, there are restrictions on religious freedoms, LGBTQ rights, and product marketing, issues that affect men and women alike. So underlying these discriminating policies is our fear of heavily charged labels, man and woman. Labels that have been ingrained in us from the moment we were born. Boys and girls, pink and blue, a gender binary that is black and white. What a simple formula. Except, quite often, our lived experience doesn't match the stereotyped gender binary. There are stay-at-home dads, aspiring female clergy members, and queer couples. There are women like Susie who poop loudly every single day, and there are John Does who like the taste of Luna bars. If we want to confirm these identities in ourselves and others, we must first modify our gender-centric attitudes by overcoming our fear of being on the other side of the gender dichotomy. And the way I first overcame this fear was by cutting my hair, as you can see here. Although at the time, I had no idea that cutting my hair would force me to confront this fear. 3 years ago, I decided to cut my hair on an impulse, having not yet thought about the gender binary or what this decision would imply about my identity. So the night before my haircut, I had a dream that I was skateboarding with Eric Frolander, my childhood best friend. And in the dream, in place of my long, wavy hair, I had a mohawk. So naturally, upon awakening, I grabbed my skateboard, rolled over to a barber shop on Moody Street, and asked for a mohawk. I was excited to make this dream a reality because I place a lot of significance on my dreams. So the next day, I Skyped my parents and faced an unexpectedly harsh reaction. My mother put her face in her hands, and my dad made an inappropriate joke that I don't even feel comfortable sharing. That rejection was difficult, but after some days I got over it. The next hurdle was confronting my peers, who started making judgments and posing questions like, "Kat, are you a lesbian? Kat, are you trying to look tough? Wow, Kat, your hair is so cool. You must like punk rock music." The last hurdle came a couple weeks later when I was asked by a 6-year-old soccer player I was coaching, "Kat, are you a boy or a girl?" Other coaches and parents were looking to see how I react. I said rather nonchalantly, "I'm a girl." She found this acceptable and went on practicing her juggling. I laughed to myself, reflecting on my answer to this question, because I realized that it didn't matter whether I had answered boy or girl. I was still Coach Kat at the end of the day. Encounters like these, faced every day, eventually caused me to let go of the gendered parts of my identity. Afterwards, I felt a lot more like Kat. In the years since, I've made a lot of changes that reflect this. It turned out that accidentally crossing the gender boundary line inspired me to actively cross it. One change I made was joining a men's club soccer team, Brandeis Futbol Club. What an amazing experience. I got to play from a different style, from a different perspective, never once fearing being the only girl on the team. I also asked a guy out on a date and paid. The date went really well, and we ended up going on another date. Another big change, I gained a lot more confidence and upended a big excuse I had been making at Brandeis, that the reason I liked philosophy better than science was because, as a woman, I'm not as inclined towards science, a thought that fed my fear that I would not be good at it. Post-haircut, I no longer had this excuse and ended up pursuing a second major in a STEM subject, despite abandoning this goal after succumbing to my fear my freshman year. The transformation of my identity and the positive experiences that resulted taught me the importance of gender binary thinking, that we should oppose or test this thinking, whether merely out of curiosity or in the hope of discovering something new about ourselves. Crossing this binary does not mean everyone has to get a dramatic haircut or makeover. There are many small steps that one can take to blur the gender binary line in our day-to-day activities. So I challenge the audience. Males, wear a pink shirt to work one day. Women, follow Sheryl Sandberg's lead and lean in. These are just 2 examples. As for me, my daily opposition to the gender binary is committing to pooping whenever and however I want. If there's a line for the women's bathroom, I'll simply use the men's. During my time at Brandeis, I've come to be known as the girl with the Mohawk, and while I can't deny the accuracy of this title, I also want to add a message to it. I want people to look at me and think, hey, if she can pull off that hair, I can be so bold as to cross the gender binary line too. Thank you.